how can I go from a two-way table to a Venn diagram and then back? And how do I read this Venn diagram? So we know that like this is event A and this can be event B. And in this case, we have the questions, do you have Twitter and do you have TikTok? So I can put that title here. This is Twitter. This is TikTok. And usually you might see them actually in the circles, but my circles are a little bit small. So I know that everything in this circle represents Twitter. And everything in this circle represents TikTok. Or yes, I have a Twitter. Yes, I have TikTok. And everything here is where you have TikTok and Twitter, because this is part of both circles. So I want to start filling this in. I know that this is both. So I'm going to look at my two-way table and think about, where do I see TikTok and Twitter? So I have yes, Twitter, yes, TikTok, and where they overlap is right here. So there are 3 people here who have yes, TikTok and yes, Twitter. So now I want to think about the people who have yes, they have Twitter, but they do not have TikTok. So if I were to fill this in, you can see that this is only in the Twitter circle. So looking at the two-way table, how many students have a Twitter but do not have TikTok? So has Twitter, does not have TikTok, that would be 1. And this makes sense. I know that 3 plus 1 is 4, and there are 4 students who have Twitter. My next part is to think about who has TikTok. I want to fill in this part of the circle. This represents someone who has TikTok but does not have Twitter. So looking at the two-way table, how many students have TikTok and do not have Twitter? So I'm going to look at yes, TikTok, and no Twitter. And that would be 5. And I want to double check that I did this correctly and think, well, how many are there in total? In total, 3 plus 5 is 8. There are 8 students who have TikTok. So when I look at my TikTok circle, the sum of all the numbers in this circle is 8. So I did that correctly. And the final part is to think about, where does this piece go? Where does the no Twitter and the no TikTok go? If I know everything inside the circles represents yes, then everything outside the circle must represent no. So I can write that 2, because this 2 represents no out here. And now every box has been represented on our Venn diagram. And I can ask the same questions. What is the probability someone has TikTok but no Twitter? So I'm going to look, okay, I know they have TikTok. I know they do not have Twitter. So I can either look here. Do you have TikTok? Yes. Do you have Twitter? No. So I know it should be 5. Same thing here. This represents TikTok, but no Twitter. And I have the same value.